Now, if you're new here, this is a 2011 Audi S4. It is a clean titled vehicle and has 180,000 miles. Certainly one of the highest mileage S4s you will see around. And now we get to see precisely what it needs. Now, fortunately, there are some good things on this vehicle. Number one is the body. This is a lifelong northeastern vehicle. There's no rust anywhere on the vehicle. And that's quite a feat considering the snow, salt, nasty weather. The roads are horrible around here. So body-wise, we are in good shape. Coming over to the interior, look at these seats. 180,000 miles, no rips, no tears. Everything looks to be in really good shape. Everything works inside the vehicle in terms of the buttons, the electronics, the lighting. Everything is in really good shape inside of the cabin. But our main attention are the mechanicals. Now, looking at the front brakes, this is the driver's side, but both of, a little hard to see, but both of the brake pads have been replaced. The front driver's side and passenger side. Now for the rear driver's side, you can see, maybe a little hard, there we go, you can see there's not a lot of brake bite there. So certainly I'll need to replace both the driver's side and passenger side rear brake pads. Now with so many miles and 11 years old, one thing of course is always the suspension, and the previous owner did tackle a number of the suspension links that Audi uses and employs. Now checking the tie rods, everything feels really good. Also the ball joint, everything feels really good, both the driver's side and the passenger side. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. Don't forget, it's 180,000 miles. And when I first looked at the vehicle, not only did I smell burning engine oil, but I noticed, you can see some of this residue in the engine bay. And that's down to this guy, the valve cover gasket. The driver's side is a mess. I mean, look at all of this engine oil caked on here. Passenger side, not too bad, but of course, we will replace both the driver's side and the passenger side. Now, the second thing that we need to address is the vacuum pump. Now, it's hard to see this, as you can see, so little working room here. And this is something I noticed from underneath the vehicle, which I'll show you in a moment. But right here is a vacuum pump. And there you go. You can just see the amount of engine oil caked on there. If you're familiar with vehicles, you've worked on them in the past, typically you'll find a rubber line from the intake manifold to the brake booster. Audi does things a little bit differently. This creates vacuum for the braking system, but it runs off a camshaft. So the camshaft spins, which turns this pump, creates vacuum. But what happens over time is the seals here fail and it starts to leak engine oil. Again, it's to be expected. It's a lot of miles, but we're not done yet. Now this is the plastic tray that lives underneath this vehicle. And this is something that I noted in a previous video. If you want to inspect a modern vehicle, it's very difficult to see if you have any leaks or if the vehicle has any leaks because of the under tray. And once you remove it, it's a different story. So as you can see here, this is the oil pan. And look at all of this engine oil gunk. This is coming from a minimum of 3 spots. The valve cover gaskets. Number 2 is that vacuum pump. Number 3, most likely, is the oil pan gasket itself. So at a minimum, we need to tackle those 3 things. And you can just see it just spraying engine oil everywhere on the vehicle. Again, suspension-wise, we're okay. Axles are very dry. There's nothing leaking in terms of ripped axle boots, so we're okay regarding that. The main thing with this car, of course, with the mileage, once again, are the leaks. There are a lot of them. So the mode of attack, 2 things, and I would like your feedback on this if you agree. Hold on, but the mode of attack, certainly the valve cover gaskets and the vacuum pump. Once that's done, take it for a drive. Come back after maybe 20-25 miles of usage and see if we have any other leaks. Now the reason why I want to do that, I don't want to do the oil pan now and then find out that we have additional leaks that requires the engine oil to be drained. You know, that's 80 bucks down the drain. So I want to verify there are no other leaks before we do the oil pan. Then we could do air filter, cabin filter, rear brakes, drive belts. We have a number of different belts on this vehicle. Cleaning the intake valves. The car runs perfectly fine. There's no hesitation, but after 180,000 miles, there must be a lot of carbon buildup on those valves. Had to remove the supercharger. You know, just have some fun with it. If you're new here, my point with these videos is to really show that you can do, gosh, you can really do almost anything at home if you're willing to learn and put the time into it. There are things I do think you should bring to a really good shop if you can find one, but there are many things you can really absolutely do at home. And not only do you save money, but you get the pride that you did the work yourself, you know how your vehicle runs. Take my word for it, it's a very satisfying feeling. So that being said, next video we will start wrenching on this car, get her up and running. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series, and we'll see you soon.